Welcome to Le Podcast de Philippe. Today we're diving deep into something pretty hot in the digital world right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Generative Engine Optimization, or GEO.
GEO.
Yeah, you've probably heard of SEO, but GEO is a whole new ballgame.
I think I'm getting that already.
So think about it this way. Instead of just ranking high on search results pages, what if your content was like the go-to source that AI-powered search engines use in their answers?
Okay. Yeah, I see what you mean. That's big.
Yeah, that's the power of GEO, and that's what we're going to unpack today. We'll look at how it's different from traditional SEO and how you can leverage it.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal. We're seeing a real shift happening right now with these AI-powered search engines like Copilot, Gemini, and Perplexity.
Right. And they're going way beyond those simple lists of links.
Exactly. It's like they're giving you the answer directly synthesized from a bunch of different
Well,
sources.
if you want your content to be a part of that, you got to understand how to play the GEO game.
Exactly.
Okay. So where do we start?
Well, let's start with the basics. I mean, the sources we've been looking at highlight some key differences between SEO and GEO.
Yeah.
So like traditional SEO, that's all about optimizing your website to rank high in search engines.
Right. Using keywords and backlinks and all that.
Exactly. You're trying to climb that ladder. But with GEO, it's different. It's not about ranking. It's about being the source, the authority that these AI engines go to when they need to provide an answer.
So it's almost like a fundamental shift in how we think about online visibility.
Exactly.
It's interesting, like imagine someone asks an AI assistant, what are the best practices for sustainable business travel?
Right.
With GEO, the goal isn't just to rank for that keyword.
Right.
It's to have your content be the source for the answer.
Yeah. So it's like becoming the expert, the thought leader in a certain area.
Exactly. The AI recognizes you and trusts you.
That makes sense. But how do we actually do that? Like, how do we optimize for these AI models?
Yeah, that's where things get really interesting. You need to understand how these AIs think, how they process information.
Right, because they're not human.
Exactly. They crave clarity and structure. They need information that's easily digestible, fact-based, and presented in a way that they can quickly understand and use.
So our sources really emphasize the importance of content quality and structure. It's like
Yeah.
we need to cater to the AI's appetite for well-organized information.
Yeah.
Can you give us an example of how a company might actually do that?
So let's look at a company like Marriott.
Okay.
They're already using geographic intelligence, we also refer to that as GEO, to get a competitive advantage.
Interesting.
By analyzing location data, they can understand risk factors in different regions, make smarter decisions about where to expand, and even tailor guest experiences.
That's a great real-world example.
Yeah.
So it's not just about getting cited in search results. It's about using geographic data to make smarter decisions.
Wonderfully.
Okay, I'm starting to see the potential here. But what about for those of us who aren't running a global hotel chain? What are some things we can actually do to get started with GEO?
Well, first you have to understand your audience and what questions they're asking these AI engines. You know, what problems are they trying to solve? Once you know that, you can focus on creating really high-quality content that provides clear and concise answers.
So it's about being the best answer, not just any answer, but it's more than just writing good content, right?
Right. Remember how we were talking about AI models and how they love structure?
Yeah.
Well, that's where structured data comes in.
Yeah.
Think of schema tags like JSON LD as giving the AI a roadmap to your content. It helps them understand what your content's about, what information it contains, how it connects to other info.
Okay, so we need to think about how we're structuring our content, not just what we're writing. But honestly, JSON LD sounds a bit intimidating.
Yeah, it can be a little technical.
Can you maybe break that down a little more for us?
Yes. Okay, so think of it this way. You're trying to teach a robot how to make a sandwich. You wouldn't just hand it a pile of ingredients and say, go for it. You'd give it step-by-step instructions, clearly label each ingredient and explain how it all fits together. JSON LD is kind of like that. It's labeling and organizing your content so the AI can easily understand what's what.
Okay, that's a great analogy.
Thanks.
So we're teaching the AI how to make sense of our content. Our sources also mention some tools that can help with this. Can you tell us more about those?
Sure. There are platforms like MarketMuse and Phrase.io that can analyze your content and see how it stacks up against what users are searching for. They can even identify gaps in your content and suggest areas for improvement.
So they're kind of like AI-powered content strategists.
Exactly. They help you tailor your content to meet the demands of both human users and AI algorithms.
So they're helping us bridge the gap between what we want to say and what the AI needs to hear.
Exactly.
That's really helpful.
And then there's ChatGPT.
Oh, yeah, ChatGPT.
It can be a really powerful tool for generating content that's tailored to specific user queries. You can use it to brainstorm content ideas, create outlines, or even generate entire pieces of content.
I've heard of people doing that.
Yeah, but always remember to review and edit what it produces to make sure it's accurate and original.
Right, of course.
Mm.
It's a lot to take in, but it's exciting to see how these tools can help us navigate this new world of GEO. But before we get too carried away with the possibilities, our sources also highlight some of the challenges that come with implementing GEO. Maybe we should take a look at those now.
Yeah, good idea. It's true, GEO isn't exactly a walk in the park.
Yeah. What are some of the challenges?
Well, one of the biggest is data quality and security. I mean, if you're using inaccurate or outdated data, your GEO efforts are going to fall flat.
Makes sense. Garbage in, garbage out, as they say.
Right. And with all the data privacy concerns these days, you need to be really careful about how you collect, store, and use data.
So it's not just about having data, it's about having the right data and handling it responsibly.
Exactly.
Okay, what other hurdles are out there?
Another challenge is the need for technical expertise.
Yeah.
GEO involves working with these complex AI models and data sets. It requires a certain level of technical know-how that not everyone has in-house.
Right. It sounds like we might need to bring in some outside help or invest in some training to get up to speed. Anything else we should be prepared for?
Well, integrating GEO with your existing systems can also be tricky.
How so?
You might need to make some changes to your website, your content management system, or your data analytics platform to really accommodate those GEO strategies. And then there's the cost factor.
Yeah, I was going to say AI technologies and tools can be pretty expensive.
Exactly. And that can be a real challenge for smaller businesses or those with limited budgets.
So it's not a magic bullet. We need to be realistic about the resources and commitment required to make GEO work. But you mentioned earlier that there are tools and strategies to help us address these challenges. So let's get back to that. What are some of the tools that can make GEO implementation smoother?
Well, we already talked about MarketMuse and Phrase.io, which are great for content analysis and optimization.
Right.
But there are other tools that can help you with different aspects of GEO. For example, there are tools that can help you clean and validate your data, ensuring its accuracy and reliability.
That's essential if we want to avoid feeding the AI bad information. Data hygiene is definitely key.
Absolutely. And there are also tools that can help you visualize and analyze geographic data, making it easier to identify patterns and trends.
So that could be really valuable for companies like Esri that specialize in geographic information systems.
Exactly. They help businesses use location data to make better decisions, whether it's planning a new store location or responding to a natural disaster.
It's amazing to see how GEO is being applied in so many different ways.
It really is.
But even with these tools, I imagine there's still a lot of learning and adaptation involved.
Oh, absolutely. The field of GEO is evolving so rapidly, and the AI models are constantly learning and improving. You need to be willing to experiment, iterate, and stay up to date with the latest developments.
So continuous learning is key. But what about the human element? How can we ensure that we're creating content that resonates with both AI and human audiences?
That's a great question. And it brings us back to the importance of understanding your audience. While we need to optimize for AI, we can't forget that ultimately we're creating content for humans. We need to find that sweet spot where we're providing value to both.
So it's about finding that balance, catering to the AI's needs while still engaging with our human readers. And maybe that's where the real art of GEO lies.
Yeah.
But what about the bigger picture? Where do you see GEO going in the next few years? How will it shape the future of search and content creation?
Welcome back to the podcast, Philippe. We've been talking about GEO, and it really seems like it's going to change how we find information online.
Yeah, it really does. So before we wrap up, I'd love to hear your thoughts on what the future holds for GEO. How it might impact us in the years to come.
Well, it's pretty fascinating to think about. As AI gets more sophisticated and becomes a bigger part of our lives, I think GEO is going to evolve right along with it.
Makes sense.
One thing that I think is really interesting is the potential for even greater personalization. Imagine a world where your search results aren't just a generic list,
Right.
but a curated, AI-generated summary that's tailored specifically to you.
So like your interest needs, past behavior, all that.
Exactly like having a personal AI librarian
Who just knows exactly what you're looking
and
for.
can pull together the most relevant information from a huge amount of content.
That would be incredibly powerful.
And that's where GEO becomes even more important. If you want your content to be part of that personalized experience, the AI needs to really understand it.
Inside and out.
Exactly. It means not just providing clear, accurate information, but also using things like structured data to provide context.
To show how different pieces of content relate to each other.
Right. It's not just about optimizing for keywords anymore. It's about building a knowledge graph
A web of interconnected information that the AI can miss.
to understand the nuances and complexities of your content.
That's a pretty big shift for content creators.
It is, but it's also a huge opportunity. As AI plays a bigger role in how we find information, the content creators who embrace GEO will have a big advantage
Because they'll be the ones shaping the narratives, providing the insights.
and guiding the AI towards the best information.
So it's not about being replaced by AI, it's about working with it.
Yeah, to create a smarter and more informative experience online.
That's a great point. So as we wrap up our deep dive into GEO, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay.
We've talked a lot about the technical aspects of GEO, but it's about more than just algorithms and data.
Right.
It's about understanding the power of information and how we can use AI to make it more accessible, more useful, and more meaningful for everyone.
I think that's a great way to put it.
Thanks for joining us on the podcast of Philip. Be sure to subscribe to our channel on YouTube for more deep dives into technology innovation and the future of information. Until next time.